Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego, and it's time for another live stream. It's 5:52 p.m. Central Time here in the Panhandle, Florida, December the 22nd, 2025. The shortest day of the year was yesterday, so now we're going to start collecting more minutes of sunshine as each day passes. And we're going to get closer and closer to 2026. And we're going to get closer and closer to warmer weather if you are in a place where it is very cold. Here in Florida, it gets cold sometimes, but not too bad. This is your K1 Visa Green Card channel. I'll give you all this free advice. I give away all this information, my 12 and a half years plus of knowledge on processing green cards and K1 visas. I give it all away to you here for free. Unless you're a member, of course, and then if you are a paid up member of the channel, then you get my phone number, my cell, my email, and then I will help you personally, one-on-one, through this sometimes scary process. It can be scary sometimes. It can be stressful. It's most definitely not cheap running this green card process or going through a K1 visa application. And I took a look at how many trips I made to Colombia, and I made like 13 trips to Colombia, South America. I don't know how much that would be in plane tickets. It's quite a lot of money, right? Maybe I should go back and calculate how much I spent on plane tickets flying back and forth to South America. It's probably a small fortune. I could probably bought an RV for that kind of money. I don't know. But it was well worth it. And I got married to beautiful Karina from Venezuela. And we are almost at the 2-year mark in the United States. January 3rd, 2026. She would have been in the United States for 2 years. January 14th is our second wedding anniversary. And then in March or April, beginning of April, end of March, we will file for Karina's 10-year green card. Now, she's from Venezuela, so if immigration decide they're just going to sit on it, well, if they can only sit on it for so long. If they're going to pause adjudication of Venezuelans, they can only do it for so long before I have to take legal action against USCIS, which I will do easily. They don't scare me. The Congress of the United States gave my wife permission to enter on her K1. The Congress of the United States created laws which allowed her to come to the United States and get married to me. And the Congress of the United States. So the only ones that can change it, not somebody writing or signing letters, not an USCIS director. His job is to adjudicate green cards and K1 visas, etc., through the State Department, not to block the adjudication of people because of a designated country that they don't like. Now, James McLean, Nigeria is on the list of partial travel bans. Will we have any issues applying for adjustment of status? No, you can file your adjustment of status paperwork, file for the 2-year green card next month. Go ahead and file it. Once you have all your evidence collected, all your paperwork, you go ahead and file it. You will receive a letter from immigration saying they received your paperwork. But if Nigeria is on the list of partial ban countries, then they're just going to sit on the adjudication for a while. I don't know how long it's going to be, but after 90 days, so by March 2nd of 2026, USCIS will be putting a list of people together who they want to re-interview. They're going to be get together a list of people who maybe they want to relook at they're going to have them come back and re-interview for their green cards. But go ahead and file for your 2-year green card, and you will get a notice of action. You'll get a 797 saying they received it. But it will sit on a shelf for a while until they lift this unconstitutional attack on these people from these different countries. It's unconstitutional. The Congress of the United States created this program, not USCIS. USCIS worked for us. They worked for the Congress. The Congress gave them the authority to do this work. And the director of USCIS, although I think he feels like he's working under orders of the president, can sign all the freaking executive orders he wants. The Congress controls this process. Only an immigration judge can throw somebody out of this country if they have a green card. Okay? So go ahead and file for the 2-year green card. You will get a paperwork, receiving the paperwork, and then you just wait. You just sit and wait. Let me turn this, let me get some light going here. I need to add some light. Watch this. Oh, how about that? Now you can see what's going on. You're just gonna have to wait for the adjudication. Like my wife's from Venezuela, so we're gonna file for her 10-year green card. The beginning of April, I think it's best for us to do it. And then we'll get a letter from immigration giving Karina a 48-month extension on her 2-year green card. And the question is, if they sit on the adjustment of status, will that affect her legal status to remain in the United States? No. As long as you file for the adjustment of status, okay, you'll get a letter saying they received it. That's her I-94 is her legal status to be in America. Even though it's only good for 90 days, the I-94 is her legal status to be in the United States while you wait for immigration to follow the congressional law of adjudication. Now, what's going to happen probably, I think it's going to happen January 1st, January 2nd, probably the first week of January. There's a bunch of attorneys, immigration attorneys across the United States are going to start slapping class action lawsuits on the director of USCIS for violating congressional law, which is to adjudicate green cards, 10-year green cards, naturalization ceremonies. Okay, you just can't handpick some countries and say, I don't like this country, we're going to stop processing green cards for these folks. Only the Congress has that authority, okay? The president can sign all the freaking executive orders he wants if he doesn't want. To me, I know the president is trying to protect the republic. He's concerned about the security of our country, and we fully understand that. But it has to be ran through Congress, okay? And so what's going to happen is immigration attorneys, although you don't need an immigration attorney to file for a green card or a K-1 visa, you don't need an immigration attorney to do this. But if you want an immigration attorney to force USCIS to adjudicate your case, if you want to force USCIS to do their freaking job, that's when you can hire an immigration attorney and file a mandamus lawsuit against them. So if they sit on your adjustment of status, will it affect her legal status to remain in the United States? No, she can stay in the United States until they do what they're supposed to do, which is adjudicate her 2-year green card. So just hang in there, wait for these immigration attorneys who are very powerful. There's some powerful immigration attorneys who are fixing to slam some lawsuits on USCIS, and then a federal judge will then take control of this unconstitutional edict and will then be forcing USCIS to do what they're supposed to do, which is adjudicate 2-year green cards. If you don't qualify for the benefit, then immigration can deny you a green card. But if you qualify for the benefit, it doesn't matter what freaking country you are from. If you qualify for the benefit, the Congress of the United States has authorized USCIS to adjudicate and approve. If you don't qualify for the benefit, the Congress has authorized USCIS the authority to deny. Okay? Now, my wife from Venezuela is totally qualified for this visa. She made it through a security check within Interpol, the Colombian security police, the Venezuelan security police, the FBI. She's been totally vetted. She's totally good. And if USCIS want to jack us around, then that's it. Then so be it. And I will be getting the best immigration attorney on the planet in the United States to put a federal judge in front of our case and force USCIS to do their job. The president of the United States is protecting our country, and we understand his mindset. But when he comes out and says, or if it was him, I'm not sure if it was him, who wants to denaturalize Americans by 200 or 300 a month, that is absolutely insane. The only way you can denaturalize somebody is if there's fraud in their application. Okay? I mean, it's a very rare occurrence to denaturalize an American citizen. It's very, very rare to do that. But if you have filed fraudulent papers, okay, you can be denaturalized. Doesn't matter how long ago it was. 20 years ago, you can still have your citizenship revoked. But putting a quota on immigration to denaturalize Americans every month by 200 to 300, 400 people is going to have to make it. Is immigration attorneys are just chomping at the bit, ready to attack on this BS. Let's see. Demand Q. Hey, Diego. Long time no see. Just wanted to update you. My wife got her green card in October. Thanks for all your help. Well, let's go for Mountain Dew salute. Where's the Mountain Dew at? I don't drink Mountain Dew, but I had a Mountain Dew container. I don't know where it went. Huh. Where'd it go? Maybe it's gone on vacation somewhere. So I have J-Rod to come out. J-Rod from the Zeta Reticuli is going to give you a J-Rod salute. Congratulations on your green card. Very good. Good job. Now here I've got all these souvenirs from Colombia. And I haven't even, this one we didn't even unwrap it. We got it from Rakira. So, good evening, Francois. Francois, good evening, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Francois and Hamid? How are you guys? James McLean, what about her authorization to work in the U.S.? That's the green card. Will that also be delayed while they sit on the adjustment of status? Yes. But you don't need a work permit. The work permit takes just as long to get as the freaking green card. So why are you spending money on a work permit? How much is that? $260 you give them to USCIS, and then 2 weeks after the work permit comes in, you get the green card? You're not going to see a green card or a work permit until this 90-day pause has to go through. So let's say it went in December 2nd. So March 2nd of 2026, they're going to lift this pause off of so-called adjudicating these so-called 19 countries. I think there's 20 countries on the list now. Apparently that's 20% of the whole freaking global community of the world that the president doesn't like. But the good news is, in America, we have elections. And there's going to be midterm elections in 2026. And if the Republicans continue down this path of, supporting this attack on green card holders, they're going to be out of a job. And the Democrats are going to be put in power, because I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. All right. I'm independent. I'm an independent conservative. But if you start jacking around with people's lives like they are, with especially green card holders who are married to American citizens who are military veterans, okay, they're not gonna vote for these so-called politicians that support this crap. All right. So right now it's not very good for people, including myself, but I'm not worried about it, because I can get the best immigration attorney on the planet and put the USCIS in front of a federal judge and ask them to explain why they are not adjudicating my wife's 10-year green card. I can make that happen in a heartbeat. Well, I can't do it yet because she's not yet eligible to file for her 10-year green card. But it's only January, February, March. It's only 3 months away. And we're looking forward to the pause getting lifted, because by the time the dust settles on this nightmare for those folks from those 19, 20 countries, immigration attorneys are going to be forcing USCIS and the Congress to do their job. Francois, if you went over it, sorry to ask in advance, you think naturalization ceremonies will come back soon? Naturalization ceremonies are going to come back in some parts of the United States, most definitely, yeah. Listen, President Trump, is signing executive orders to basically shut down the entire green card naturalization process, and he's trying to look for any excuse to do it for any country. Right now, he's selected these 20 countries, primarily African and Asian countries. All right, and he, as the president, he can sign those executive orders, but the thing is this: we have a midterm election coming up very soon, next summer. And what's going to happen is, in my great political experience, what's going to happen is the Republicans are going to lose control of the House. The Democrats are going to get back control of the House, and then they're going to undo all these attacks on green card holders. They're going to undo it. They're going to stop it. Now, I'm not a Democrat, okay? And most of the things Democrats do, I just don't support what they do, especially when it comes to taxes and liberty and stuff. But they definitely are on the side of the immigrant. And if the Republicans want to lose the midterm elections, then they're going to then continue doing what you're doing. James McLean, thank you, Diego. We just moved into our new home. How do we change our address on file with USCIS? Form AR11. Your beneficiary has to fill out Form AR11. And you can do it online, but I recommend you do it online. Plus, go to uscis.gov, go here, uscis.gov/forms, and then look for AR11. Download it, fill it out, mail it in, and then also do it online. That way you got it covered online, and you can do it in the mail too. Okay? So then that way you got it covered. And there's also a form that the sponsor has to fill out. I can't remember what the form is, but I made a video about it. Go into the channel and look for my video on forms for changing address. And that the video will explain how to do it, okay? But your beneficiary definitely has to fill out Form AR11, your wife. And well, congratulations on getting your new house. That's good. Excellent. We're happy for you. But to those folks who are from those countries that are supposedly on the President Trump's list of unfriendly country, the Venezuelan people have got no problems with the United States. It's the government, the Maduro communists, okay? There's just a small group of people in the Maduro government that that they have their boot on the neck of the Venezuelan people. So when USCIS says they're going to block Venezuelans from adjudication, who are already in America, who've already been vetted for their green cards, good luck with that, because immigration attorneys are going to bury you guys. They're going to bury you in litigation, and USCIS is going to lose. President Trump's not going to win this one. A green card holder can only be removed from the United States by a federal judge. But you got to maintain your status, and you maintain your status by filing the forms. File the adjustment of status paperwork. File the 751. Lift the conditions. Okay, so when Karina files for her 10-year green card in first week of April, she'll get her letter of extension, which is 48 months. So her letter of extension is going to expire June 26th, 2030. January 29th, 2029, Trump's going to be on vacation. He's not going to be in the White House. He's going to be gone. There's going to be a new president. And all those executive orders that he signed will be either, the insane ones where he's attacking Venezuelans, they're going to be gone. Immigration attorneys are going to wipe the USCIS process. They're going to clean their clock. The Congress of the United States created the green card process for legal permanent residency, not for somebody to pick and choose whether they can keep their green card or not. There's a process in place, and it's a legal process. The benefit is the K-1 visa. The K-1 visa is the benefit that you have to go through that process. You go through the adjudication. You go through the investigation. You go through the police checks and the interview at the embassy or the consulate. That's the benefit. Then you get to America and you're still then you become under the I-94, which is a benefit. The Border Patrol gave you the benefit of the doubt to let you in the country with an I-94. You get married within 90 days. Then you file for your 2-year green card. When you get the green card, you are now a legal permanent resident, and only an immigration judge can kick you out of this country, so long as you are qualified for the benefit. Okay? So maintain your status. If you are from a country that's one of those countries that Trump doesn't like, then still file for your 2-year green card. Immigration's still going to respond and acknowledge your letter. They're going to acknowledge your green card application. They're going to acknowledge my wife and I when we file for the 10-year green card. They're going to send her an extension. And if they don't, then I'm going to be dropping a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit against USCIS for not upholding congressional law. This administration has done a fantastic job kicking illegal immigrants out of this country. They've secured our border. Fantastic. They've done great. But the moment they started going after green card holders and American citizens, they crossed the line of constitutional governance. They crossed the line of Americanism, of what makes this country great. They crossed the line of enforcing the security of our country to being vicious, horrible people. That's the only way I can describe it. They went from being good to being vicious. And immigration attorneys are going to have them for lunch. They're going to tear them up in court. And federal judges are going to adjudicate in favor of the immigrants on green cards. Okay? So, by the time my wife and I apply for her 10-year green card, her letter of extension will be good till June of 2030. And if that still doesn't get adjudicated by June of 2030, we'll just make an appointment at a USCIS office and get her extended again. And we will continue to keep her extended until I decide, or if I get into the mood of suing the crap out of them for being vicious against good people. Because once you've made it to the green card, 99.9% of those people are good people who are qualified for this benefit. Okay? You cannot use this process to pick and choose to kick people out of this country because they were not born here or you don't like what country they're from. Okay? Venezuelans built Miami with Cubans. Venezuelans built South Florida with Cubans. If you attack these groups of people from these two countries who have now, many of them are American, many of them are voters, they're not going to support any politician that supports this attack on green card holders, especially military veterans like myself. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. 20 years I spent protecting this country so these politicians can live free. Now I've got to I've got an immigration attorney all ready to go. If they want to jack around with me, I'm ready for the battle, and I will win the battle, and I won't ever run out of money. USCIS is going to spend, and then when I get done suing them, if I have to, I would rather not do that. I would rather USCIS do their job, which is adjudicate green cards, which is what the Congress put them in there to do. But if they're going to follow the executive orders coming out of the White House, okay, but it's going to be challenged in court, and the attorneys are going to win. So I'm trying to explain to you guys. President Trump did a fantastic job securing the border and getting rid of illegal immigrants. Fantastic. He did great. Him and Marco Rubio and the Border Patrol and ICE. Fantastic. But the moment they crossed the line and now they're going after green card holders, this 90-day pause is totally unconstitutional. You don't stop adjudication because you don't like somebody from being from a particular country. That's not how this country doesn't work that way. Okay? Checking in, Larry Piercy. Sorry I was late, but what are you concerned about? I'm not concerned about anything. I got my Navy hat on. When I started this YouTube channel in Colombia, Bogota, Colombia, I always had my U.S. Navy hat on. Every time I did a live stream, I had a U.S. Navy hat on. And right before I left Colombia, I gave it to my now brother-in-law as a gift. And then I went to wearing the Colombian hat, that our landlord bought for me in Colombia, and the Venezuelan hat my beautiful wife Karina bought for me from Caracas, Venezuela. I've been wearing the Colombian hat, the Venezuela. Now I'm back to the Navy hat, but this is big letters. The other hat was in small letters. I don't want anybody to worry about their green cards, their K-1 visas. Okay, don't be losing sleep over one executive order that immigration attorneys are going to overturn in a federal lawsuit. They're going to overturn it. You can't do that. You cannot stop. So you cannot pick and choose what freaking country you want to pick and choose the person you don't like because of their nationality. Okay. Why are they looking at existing green cards? Because President Trump told them to. Okay, from those countries, they can do that. I don't care if immigration review my wife's green card application. It was the best green card application ever created because I put it together. It's the best in the whole planet. I don't care if immigration review Karina's green card. Okay, oh, they can review it, but if they jack around with us. Okay, if they're trying to look for any reason to block a person from adjudication because of their country of birth, immigration is gonna end up getting sued big time. I know at the end of this month, there's some immigration attorneys fixing to drop some class action lawsuits. They've got thousands of people signed up for class action lawsuits, ready to go to war with the USCIS over this unconstitutional BS. Okay? From a particular country. They can't, USCIS is saying, well, I don't like this country and I don't like that country. And they're just following the orders of the president. Okay? Or because two people from Afghanistan, or one person, or a couple of people from Afghanistan inflicted horrendous crimes against American citizens. So what do? You prosecute those people from Afghanistan. You don't pick 20 countries out of the hat and pause adjudication of their legal status when they're already here on green cards. That's not how our country works. That's not how the Congress put this together so people can be with reunite with their family members, not because somebody in the White House decides that they don't care or they don't like this particular individual from this particular country. So those folks who are watching this live stream, if you are from one of those countries, I want you to relax and I want you to kick back and wait and see what happens in the next week or two. Okay? And I mean, the Congress represents we the people of the United States. And we elect these people to represent us, including immigration adjudication. If people in Congress decide that they want to start backpedaling on people here legally, okay, then they're going to be fired at the midterms. What countries? There's about 20 countries, and Venezuela is one of them. And I've already made contact with people I know in Washington, D.C., telling them that I'm fixing to launch attorney missiles at them. They better watch out. Okay? James McLean, for clarification, are you saying when we file the adjustment of status, we don't need to submit for work authorization? It will be granted automatically with the green card. That's correct. The green card is work authorization. When you file for a green card, I don't know why people are filing for work permits. Why are people spending $260 on a work permit, and then a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a month later, they get their green card, which is which overrides the work permit, and you can work, live, and travel in the United States on a green card. The 2-year green card, okay, is a work authorization in this country. A 2-year green card says you can work in this country. You can join the military, but you just can't get a job which requires a security clearance. You won't be given access to classified information. But a green card is work authorization. Okay? If you are getting ready to file for a 2-year green card, instead of spending $260 on the work permit, put that money towards a vacation for the weekend with your new husband or wife. Go spend a weekend somewhere. Don't waste it on USCIS, because, okay, the work permit comes in, you can start work with the work permit, but a month later you're going to get the green card, and then you would have spent $260 just so you can work for 4 weeks or 6 weeks. To me, it's a waste of money. It's just my opinion. If you want to file for the work permit, if you want to spend that money, go ahead. But it's a waste of money. I don't recommend it. All right. So that's my 10 cents with my 12 years plus experience doing this. Green cards, K-1 visas, work permits, spousal visas, tourist visas, U.S. citizenship applications. I've been there and done that. I helped my friend in Colombia apply for his tourist visa at Bogota. He's Colombian, pastor in a church. I helped him with his tourist visa. When you get your green card, you can work in this country. You can live in this country, and only an immigration judge can kick you out of this country, not an executive order from a president. An immigration judge is the person that has the authority to remove a green card holder. James McLean, my spouse, already has a Social Security card. Will I be able to claim her on my tax returns as a dependent married filing jointly? Yes, and you must do that. If your spouse has her Social Security number, you must file a joint tax return. This is going to be a mandatory document that you must include on your 10-year green card application and when you file for U.S. citizenship. Okay, so when you finally get your 2-year green card, you're going to then file for the 10-year green card 90 days before the 2-year green card expires. You're going to have to provide your tax returns filing jointly. Okay, if you cannot prove that if you cannot prove that you filed jointly as a tax return married to a foreign national and she has a Social Security number, or you're going to have immigration problems that you won't believe, especially when it comes to the 10-year green card and U.S. citizenship. So James McLean, if your wife has her Social Security number, you must include her on your tax return. Okay? I'm going to be filing a joint tax return with my beautiful wife, Karina, in March. Okay? Karina's been working in 2025. She worked the whole year, 2025. She's going to get a W-2 by January, first week of February, 2026. I'm going to do our taxes right here on the computer, right on this computer. I'm going to fill out the 1040 online, and I'm going to print. Then I'm going to print the tax return, and I'm going to sign it. She's going to sign it. I'm going to write a check to the Internal Revenue Service for however much money we owe Uncle Sam. And then we're going to mail in our tax return, and then the IRS will receive it. And then I will see that they cashed the check. Okay, the IRS will cash the check that we're going to write as a joint couple. Okay, and then by June or July or August, we will then call and ask for the tax transcript, because we're going to need the tax transcripts for 2024 and 2025, and 2026 and 2027, whenever Karina can finally apply for U.S. citizenship. Francois Livingston, am concerned big times. What are you concerned about, Francois? Are you going to let a bureaucrat at USCIS or in the government of the United States who has got it's not USCIS, really. It's not their fault. Okay? They're just trying to kowtow to executive orders. USCIS actually should be kowtowing to the Congress, not to the executive order. They should be saying, Well, under congressional law, we have to continue adjudicating these green cards. We have to continue doing these naturalization ceremonies because the Congress says so. That's what they should be doing. So immigration attorneys are telling USCIS, you got to follow congressional law or we're going to sue the crap out of you. And USCIS is saying, well, we got to follow this and do this. And then so immigration attorneys right now are going to drop tons and tons of litigation on USCIS. I wouldn't want to be the director of USCIS right now. Man, I cut myself shaving pretty good. Look at that. Ooh, that's a pretty good one right there. I was shaving. USCIS is going to get hammered by immigration attorneys from all over this country, from all 50 states. And they're not going to win. Okay, especially when you yank somebody out of a naturalization line when they're 5 minutes away from getting sworn in as a U.S. citizen, and then they get yanked out of line because somebody doesn't agree with what country they were born in. After they've been in this country maybe for 10 years, they've been vetted, the biometrics have been done, they've been checked out as good people. Then all of a sudden somebody says, no, I don't like this country. We're not going to let you become a U.S. citizen. I don't see anywhere in the Immigration and Nationality Act where it says USCIS has the authority to do that. So what happens? Immigration attorneys pop out of their bunkers and start preparing paperwork. And class action lawsuits are getting processed. They're getting... just relax, okay? And what's good about this country is we have elections every 2 years. We have congressional elections every 2 years, and if members of Congress want to jack around with people like me, those people are not going to get my vote, and they shouldn't get your vote. And if I don't care what political party you're from, Republican or Democrat, if you jack around with my family, you're not going to get my vote. And I'm going to do everything in my power not to help you get elected. Do you see what I'm saying? Just wait for the election cycles to come around. Right now it sucks. Everybody's stressing out. Oh, I'm from one of these 19 countries. It sucks, right? You're stressing out. Wait till midterm elections next year. It's going to be here before you know it. And when my wife and we file for her 10-year green card, we're going to get a letter saying your 2-year green card's been extended for 48 months. And if they put anything else in there other than what's in there, then I will be launching an immigration attorney down their throat like a Hellfire missile on one of those cartel boats running out of Venezuela. And I will win. So try to relax, guys. I'm here to help you with your green cards. I'm going to answer your questions. And remember, though, I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not. I don't work for USCIS. I don't give you legal advice. But I've been doing this for so long, I can do it in my sleep. I've been through so many presidents. I've been through different presidents, different Congress, different members of different senators. I got friends who are congressmen. I got friends who are senators. Okay? And I helped some of them get elected. And they are paying attention to my text messages very closely. Trust me. When I text a senator in DC and tell them, don't jack with my family, they're paying attention to what I'm saying. Okay? So just try to relax, guys. Try to tell your spouse, tell your husband, your wife, especially if you're from one of those 19 countries, 20 countries, hang in there and wait this out. You've got everybody in your corner, including me. I'm in your corner. Members of Congress are in your corner. Republicans, I don't know. Maybe. Immigration attorneys are lining up ready to do battle for you. Some of them are putting these class action lawsuits together for free. Okay? If you want to join, if you have a case pending with USCIS and they're sitting on it because of some freaking executive order, if they're not processing it, join the class action lawsuits. Go into Google or whatever, Explorer, Google list of class action lawsuits against USCIS and see what comes up. And then there's going to be a list of attorneys. And if you're from one of those countries and you feel like you're being picked on because of your country of origin, then join the class action lawsuit. It won't cost you anything. It's totally free. Okay? I'm so irritated. Not that the U.S. government's doing a great job in regards to removing illegals from our country. Don't come here illegally. Don't do that. But when they go after green card holders, that gets my attention. Because then when they start pulling people out of line in getting ready to be naturalized Americans after they spent maybe 10 or 15 years here, getting ready for that, I got a problem with that. Okay? And I text members of Congress. I've got their cell numbers. Some of them are friends. And they know that I'm not a happy camper. There's some senators know I'm not a happy camper. And I have not yet given you any bad information on this channel. And I'm telling you guys, if you have a green card and you are from one of these countries that are on this list, March 2nd, 2026, see what happens. See what happens. You're going to see that USCIS is going to be forced to stop this insane attack on these people. Black, white, red, yellow. I don't care what the color is of your. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I will help you if you need my help. Now, if you want my cell number and my email address, you got to join as a member. Then you can call me and I can walk you through things and give you my expert opinion. Remember, it's not legal advice, but I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been doing this for so long. I've helped people get green cards who have been denied. Okay? So this is just another little mountain that's being put up in front of everybody to try to stop legal immigration. And this big mountain is going to be torn down by a new Congress, by immigration attorneys, and a new president in 2029. Okay? If you have fears, if you're worried about your adjudication, if you're going to file for a 2-year green card, and you're from one of these countries, go ahead and file for your 2-year green card. Submit the 485, submit the 864, get your medical exam done. Keep collecting all the evidence. Submit a fantastic package. Make it absolutely overwhelming that it's impossible for a immigration adjudicator to block your case. You got me? Overwhelm immigration with your evidence. If you're getting ready for the 10-year green card, make sure. Am I angry at Trump? Not for his job on securing the border, but his going after green card holders who have already been vetted. Yes. My wife got her green card after a thorough vetting by Interpol, the FBI, the Colombian security police, and the Venezuelan security police. She was vetted all the way to when she was born. So why would they want to put a hold on her 10-year green card adjudication? Because she was born in Venezuela. Is that a good reason? No, it's not. That's discrimination at the highest. It's discrimination against a country. Okay? Not the people on green cards who are from those countries are not the problem. The problem is the governments. Okay? Maduro, the communist dictator, taxi driver, bus driver from Caracas, Venezuela. I'm still surprised that Trump has let him continue to be president of Venezuela. Why hasn't, I don't know, why do we have all those ships in the Caribbean Sea and a carrier battle group and fast attack submarines and cruisers and destroyers and drones? We're spending millions and millions of dollars to circle jerk in the freaking ocean. When I was in the United States Navy, when the president of the United States said we're going to remove Noriega from Panama, we removed Noriega from Panama. We didn't sit off the coast of Panama on vacation getting suntans having picnics on the back of the ship. We did our job. When we were told, when President Reagan said we're going to have to remove that communist government from the island of Grenada, I was in the United States Navy at the time. We didn't sit around waiting. We did the job and liberated Grenada. I mean, I've just got this urge to watch Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood all over again, because Heartbreak Ridge is a movie that shows when we were a real freaking military with a backbone, with the guts to do what we're supposed to do. If President Trump is posturing, okay, but Maduro's not going to leave Venezuela unless he's forced out. He's going to keep laughing at us, having his little, dance parties with the cameras in his little group of communists when all the Venezuelans want him to leave. 85-90% of the people in Venezuela want the Maduro government to be gone. And Trump can do it. What are we waiting for? Trump could liberate communist Cuba in probably a week, 5 to 6 days. And it was Marines that solved the Grenada problem. That's exactly right. The Marines, the United States Marine Corps, took care of Grenada. It didn't take long, right? Back then, we had a military that had a freaking, they didn't have to sleep in till 9 o'clock in the morning. It was a real military. When I was in the Navy in the 80s, our job was to break things, not to build things. But anyway, that's just me. I'm an old school Navy senior chief. I'm used to being in a military that got the job done. And now here I am watching the U.S. Navy joking around in the Caribbean Sea, and Maduro is still eating steak every Sunday with his family, when he should be either in Russia, China, or North Korea, or Belarus. I think the president of Belarus said Maduro is welcome there. If I was the president of the United States, I would be calling Maduro saying, okay, the president of Belarus just gave you an open invitation. You need to be in Belarus by the end of the week. And then hang up the phone. And then let us do our freaking job as a military members. Let us do our job. The Venezuelan people are going to welcome Americans if we have to go in. They're not going to attack us. They're going to welcome us and cook out. They're going to be making arepas for the Marines when the Marine Corps arrives in Caracas, Venezuela. The Venezuelan people will be making arepas for them in a blink of an eye. That's right, Larry Piercy. The problem was solved by the United States Marine Corps in Grenada under President Reagan. How old school do you think I am? Now I'm getting worked up. Well, that's good. Because, President Reagan, I served under him, and his philosophy towards illegal immigration was, let's just secure the border, and everybody who made it across the border, give them legal status and let them integrate into the United States. So that protected the children. There was no need for DACA. Children who were brought to the United States illegally, age 5 and 6 years old, who have grown up here, now 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old. Now they're getting deported? Seriously? I support kicking illegals out of the country 100%. But I don't support kicking children out of the country who came here at a very young age and know nothing and have no other country but this one. You give them legal status. If we can't secure our borders, it's not the child's fault that we didn't secure our borders. It's the federal government's fault if they made it across. But now we have a secure border, right? Trump has he's done a fantastic job securing the border. I salute him. But everybody who's in here right now, who made it through that border before it was secure, if you're a criminal, if you're a really bad person, get the hell out of here. But the children, I should say, they're not kids, the children should be given status here. You got a 17-year-old getting ready to graduate from high school, lived in America since she was 4 years old, then all of a sudden she gets deported to Honduras. That's not how we work as Americans. That's not how our country runs. The United States of America, the people of this country are not that cold-hearted. Reagan would have given that child a legal status and let her graduate from high school. Give her a green card. If you're in this country and you're committing crimes and you're bad and you're a felony, you've got felonies and stuff like that, get out of here. You're getting kick you out of here. But if you are in this country as a child, come over here at 2 years old and you've been here 15 years, then all of a sudden you find out that you're not a legal resident. That's not the child's fault. That's the federal government's fault for not securing the dang border. Now the border's secure, great. That's not going to happen, hopefully. Nobody's going to make it across. But those who are here, who are children, should be given legal status. And when I see the Republicans deporting children with no parents trying to deport them, then federal judges are having to step in to protect those children. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath at the midterms for Republicans. They're going to be decimated by the Democrats, and then Trump is going to probably get impeached by the Democrats. So instead of writing laws to help our country, the Democrats are going to be looking for ways to impeach President Trump, because that's all they know how to do. In my opinion, they know how to write impeachment articles. They can't write laws to protect children, but they know how to impeach the president. That's what's going to happen next summer. It's a mess. And all I want to do is help you guys get your green cards and K-1 visas and spousal visas. That's why I'm here. And my wife from Venezuela is going to be in the United States for the rest of her life. I don't give a crap what executive orders get signed, because she has a legal status to be here. Hindu homeschool, thank you for speaking the truth. That's why I'm here. I don't care about Republicans and Democrats, because most of those politicians are only in it for themselves anyway. A politician will get elected into Congress, and in 4 or 5 years, 6 years, they're multimillionaires. How did that happen? My philosophy on life is this: you secure the border, okay, which Trump did, fantastic, good job, Trump. But the children that are here in the United States by no choice of their own, and know no other country but this country, give them freaking legal status. Don't put them on a plane and send them to some country they've never been to that they can remember, or they can't even speak the language. You got military veterans with green cards getting deported because of minor offenses. Who does that? Why would that happen? Why would the U.S. government deport a military veteran because of some minor offense he did 20 years ago? This zero tolerance is going to cost the Republicans the House in 2026. And quite honestly, I couldn't care less. I'm a conservative independent. I'm conservative. What is a conservative? A conservative is somebody that wants limited government, reduced government, okay, justice, low taxes, minimal government interference in my life, okay, freedom, Second Amendment rights, First Amendment rights, freedom of travel. As a conservative, I want to see an immigrant who's been in this country for 8, 10, 12 years get sworn in as an American. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see our government going up to a person in a freaking line ready for citizenship, not swearing in, and pull them out of that line. That is un-American. And it's disgusting. And it's vicious. And I don't support it. And what's going to happen is when the Republicans get kicked out of Congress next year, the Democrats here's what they're going to do. They're going to tell those people that got yanked out of their naturalization lines, they're going to tell USCIS, go ahead and put them people back in line and let them become Americans like they want to. Bring those people back to the United States that have been deported unjustly. Okay? That's the American way. Now, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm independent. But it's one thing to kick out illegal immigrants. It's quite another thing to go after legal permanent residents who have rights under the Constitution of the United States of America. They have rights, so long as they are qualified for the benefit. Okay? So if you're in this country from one of those 20 countries that's been put on a pause, okay, and you have a 2-year green card, don't worry. Don't worry. Only an immigration judge can kick you out of the country, not a president. Okay? Try to relax. I want you to be able to go to bed at night and relax and sleep restfully and not panic. Because the only people that need to be worried about deportation are people in this country illegally and people who have green cards who have committed major felonies and criminal offenses. That's it. If you're a green card holder and you committed a major felony, you've committed fraud, you've assaulted somebody, you tried to rob somebody, your ass is going to be de-green carded. But if you are a law-abiding permanent resident of the United States and you have done everything by the book in accordance with the Immigration and Nationality Act, you're good to go. And don't fear your green card. Chris, Larry Pierce said, yes, everyone is fed up some things with Trump. President Trump has done a wonderful job with lots of things, but he crossed my line of deportation. He crossed the line when he went after green card holders. When he started yanking green card holders out of naturalization ceremonies. He crossed the line with me right there. Okay? And he's just lucky that he's only in his life. He's only got one more term left in office. Because there's no way in hell I would ever vote for him again at all. Because he's going after good people. Why? Just because he doesn't like them? Okay, maybe that's why. But only the Congress has the authority to do that. He can sign executive orders, but that's why we have elections every 2 years. Every 2 years we have congressional elections. Every 6 years we have elections for the Senate. And every 4 years we have elections for president. Chris, lies about $2,000 are needed now. What does that mean, $2,000? I don't pay any attention to any politician that says they're going to send me a check for any money from a tariff or a rebate. I don't listen to it. I don't pay any heed to it until the check is in my mailbox and I cash it. No, you're not going to, the tariff interest, okay? Nah, don't even bank on that. That's got to go through Congress. The Treasury Department. Only the Congress can authorize that through the Treasury Department, not the president. Maybe the president is misinformed on his authority as president, okay? But he's going to have a hard lesson to learn very soon when immigration attorneys drop a hammer on him. And those hammers are getting preloaded as I run this live stream on December 22nd, 2025, the first day after the shortest day of the year. Now, I don't have any bad feelings towards President Trump. I have no animosity towards him at all because he has done a great job in securing our border. But going after green card holders ain't going to happen I'm not going to tolerate that kind of bull. Not at all. Because those folks have done the process. So he's going to mess us all up about the processing. All he's going to do is slow down the processing. Okay? Everything's going to come to a grinding halt, especially for Venezuelans, my wife. But we don't care. Because we do care, but we're not worried about it. Because I can tell you, you got to listen to me, guys. Immigration attorneys are going to bury USCIS. The director of USCIS is going to be buried alive by these powerful, rich attorneys who are going to jump on this unconstitutional executive order. President Trump said he wants to denaturalize 300 to 400 Americans a month. Number one, he has no such authority to do that. That's a very, very, very rare event. So he's going to put a quota on USCIS to denaturalize Americans in those kind of numbers. Seriously, USCIS can't possibly live up to that. Number one, those people don't exist. Number two, only the Congress can make that happen. Number three, it's unconstitutional. You can't just make up crap and say, oh, you're no longer an American. What Trump is doing has stepped over the bounds of civility, okay? And he's lost my support. And that's all I'm going to say. If he was up for re-election, I wouldn't vote for him. I'm not saying I'm going to vote for the Democrat either. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to vote for a communist. What Trump thinks he's doing is the right thing for our country. But what he's doing is not. Because those people with green cards have already been vetted. They've already been screened. My wife went through 13 questions of interrogation lasting almost 30 minutes at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia. And then they told her she had to get an Interpol police clearance. My wife has been fully vetted by immigration. If they want to spend resources of revetting her, reviewing her green card application again, I don't care. They can do that if they want to. I don't care if we have to go to a green card interview. But let me tell you something. If they screw with my family, they're going to lose. So why is he messing around with Navy and Army? He's messing with everybody. Military veterans. You have a guy married to a lady from Thailand. He's in the Navy. They go to their green card interview for their 2-year green card, and then she gets arrested because she overstayed her freaking tourist visa by 3 days. What kind of crap is that? Who does that? That's never happened in the history of our country. This immigration process has crossed the line of civility. It's gone over that red line of civility, and it's going to bring political damage to the Republicans in the midterm elections. And I couldn't care less. Honestly, right now, I don't care. It's their problem. But let me tell you something. My wife's going to be getting her 10-year green card, and she will get adjudicated. And if USCIS doesn't want to do it because they're worried about some executive order, I'll make them do it through a federal judge. It's that easy. You guys shouldn't be scared of these people in the government. And remember, they're only temporary. Republicans and Democrats, they're only temporary hemorrhoids in your life. The hemorrhoids get changed every 2 years. Presidents get changed every 4 years or 8 years. Senators get changed every 6 years. Thank you, founding fathers, who created this fantastic republic, for that initiative. Okay? You got to thank the founding fathers. You got to thank James Madison, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. Thank these people. These were young children. How old were they? 18, 19 years old? These are the people that built this country under our Constitution. Our Constitution was written by teenagers with the IQs of Einstein. And from 1776 onwards up to 2025, we Americans and legal permanent residents are protected. Thank you, founding fathers, for protecting us from people like Obama and now Trump. I never thought I'd ever hear myself say that. I never thought I would be having to start protecting my wife from a Republican president. But it is what it is. And I'm not afraid to do it. And I'm going to win. And those friends of mine in Congress and in the Senate, there are members of the U.S. Senate that have talked to my wife on her phone to say hi to her. Hey, Karina, welcome to America. Members of the Senate. Now they're hiding under their friggin' desks because they know not to pee me off. Because I don't put up. I'll protect my family, I'm telling you. And you have to be in the same mindset, okay? My advice to you on this live stream is this. If you are watching, if your family is from one of those 19, 20 countries, look for a class action lawsuit and get on board with it. Sign up with it. And don't be scared. You have protections under the Constitution. There's lots of beneficiaries with green cards scared to sue the government because they're fearful that they're going to lose their green cards or their status because they're filing lawsuits against the government. There's protections in place that can't happen. Okay? Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Sleep well. Don't panic. And remember, elections have consequences. And if you are a green card holder, the only person that can remove you from the country is a federal judge at an immigration hearing. Okay? And if you go in front of an immigration judge at an immigration hearing and you have a perfect, clean record, your green card will be extended to 10 years. You will not be deported. You will not be deported from this country. Okay? You're going to be protected. I've been talking for 1 hour and 8 minutes. Thank you for listening to me rant and rave. It was not my intention to do that because I love this country. I love America. I love this country. I spent 20 years in the Navy serving my country. And I never once ever thought I would have to be protecting my wife or my family from a Republican president. Never in my wildest dreams. But here we are. And I'm not worried about it. Midterms will be failed next year. Turnout will suck. I don't think the turnout is going to be bad. I think the turnout is going to be good because people, especially independents like me, independent voters, like let's take Florida, for example. There are more independent voters in Florida than there are Republicans and Democrats. Independents outnumber Republicans and Democrats in the state of Florida. So if Republicans want to stay in power, they're going to have to rely on the independents to support their candidates. You see what I'm saying? Hang in there, guys. You can do it. I'm with you. If you want my phone number, if you want to contact me, if you want somebody to talk to, if you want me to be your motivator, if you want me to be your coach and help you, sign up as a member. It's not because I want your freaking $9.99. It's because I need to be able to control who I know, who's got my phone number and email, because the phone number and email control this YouTube channel. So I got to know who has that information. The only way I can do that is if I create a membership. So when you buy into a membership, I get your name. So I know who's got the freaking information. Okay? That's the only reason. Join as a member. I'm here for you. Or just hang out with me on the live stream. I do the live stream 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll take a night off. Sometimes my wife is with me, Karina, my beautiful wife. She's my soulmate for eternity. I don't give a rat's ass what executive orders get signed. Nobody is going to mess with my family, and nobody should be messing with your family, especially if they've been adjudicated with green cards. See you at the next live stream, which is, what's today, Monday? Today's Monday, right? Wednesday. See you then. Actually, what's it? Wednesday, 22nd, 23rd. That's Christmas Day. I think Christmas Day is Wednesday, right? Do you want me to do a live stream Christmas Day? I can do a live stream Christmas Day. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't expect me to dress up as Santa Claus. I'm not going to do that. I already lost 25 pounds, so I can't fill in for Santa anymore. But I'll see you guys Wednesday on Christmas, okay?